So the next one we have, for you Dynasty guys out there, we've merged every week of the bowl season into 1 week, so you don't need to advance 4 weeks to get to your championship game.
Yeah, this is a huge one for especially online Dynasty. Because, I mean, in every online Dynasty we had, how many times would you say that every single player had a bowl game in the same week?
I'd never have.
Exactly. So what would happen is it would be, I would have to play week 1 of the bowl season, and Ben would play week 2, somebody else would play week 3, somebody else would play week 4. So instead of like every other week in online Dynasty, you had to advance 4 times to get through one section of the season.
And then one guy holding up that Dynasty because he wasn't playing, and so you got to wait for him, and then everyone uploads and downloads, and it was a big hassle. It took way too long. So we did that we used to have that to represent the month that took bowl season. You have those initial games start in the middle of December all the way up to beginning of January when you have the BCS championship game. And so it was an authentic thing that we did originally that kind of has run its course, and it's actually better for the game that we make this just 1 week now. So it's a rare instance where we might go away from what's true to life to make the game better.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think it made sense, or it wasn't really noticeable in an offline, a single-player Dynasty. But when we really started, online Dynasty being this huge feature that we, worked on for the last few years, is that you kind of noticed that really the season almost came to a halt and stopped a lot of online Dynasties. Actually ended in the bowl season because, for that example you just said, if someone took too long to play, or it was like 2 weeks and then 3 weeks and 4 weeks, real weeks, before you actually got to advance.
Yeah, I mean, in an offline Dynasty, typically, most Dynasties, they're just one guy.
Yeah.
So you're setting your own pace. But when you have 12 people, all trying to play their bowl game, it would take forever. So
it took me too long to get to my national title games.
Yeah, like never. So to save Russ the embarrassment of having to wait to everyone else play their bowl game, at least sitting at home with 5 wins in a season, we decided to move them all to 1 week. All right, so next one, another one for you Dynasty guys. Dynamic conference logos for when you change conferences during the game.
Yeah, harping on the same thing as, building that authentic, experience that you would expect between transfer, teams changing conferences in Dynasty to kind of have through natural gameplay. And then the big feature we added last year was custom conference, where you could take teams around. So if you wanted, you wanted to see FSU or Miami play in the SEC, you could switch them around. Well, now when you switch around, that the art on the field for the conference logo changes, so it comes along with me. I mean, this is a request that goes back, PS2 days. Once we put in the first edition of Creative School, people were looking to have this sort of thing with being able to change the conferences and which teams are in which conferences. It would always say, that example right there, say Florida State went to the SEC. The field art would still say ACC, even though they're playing in the SEC. And that just, it was a little thing, but it was a big thing.
Every time you win the game, you'd see it. You'd say, this kind of just, why is it still doing this? And so, actually, it was through the creation of Team Builder that allowed us to be able to do this. So that was kind of one innovation from last year leading to a new feature this year, where you're able to see that. And so they will actually dynamically update the colors for that. So in that screenshot you saw,
this is the cool part right here to me.
This might be something you didn't quite notice in that screenshot, but you look underneath the player, that Clemson player, look at the bottom right there. It's that little logo right there. It's orange and white. But if you look a little closer, it's hard to kind of see, but that's the SEC logo. So that's Clemson in the SEC. And the logo now looks like if Clemson were in the SEC and it was palletized to be them.
Yeah, so basically we match exactly what, in theory, would happen if a team moved over. We take kind of their primary and secondary color, or the ones that look the best for any school, and put them on that logo so that they look like they really moved over to the SEC.
Yeah, you're not going to get just the generic, stock ACC, SEC, Big Ten, WAC conference logo on the field. You're going to get one that's school colored, just like every other school that's in that conference.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
So this one here is really big for all you Alabama fans out there. The numbers are going to be showing up on the side of the helmet. I think last year during gameplay, they actually when they were in instant replay or any of the scriptables, they actually showed up. But during actual gameplay, which really was showed off worse than kickoff.
So the first thing you saw as an Alabama fan was this blank side of your helmet instead of seeing the number.
Well, we heard.
We heard.
And we saw a lot of feedback about this one. So the numbers are on the side of the helmet. And not only for Alabama, which is obviously, kind of the premier example of this, but for Team Builder teams.
Yeah.
Which I think every single Team Builder team I made last year, one of my alternate helmets had numbers on it just because they look so cool.
Yeah, it was something we were really happy to get there. We knew that it wasn't there. It was something we didn't like either, but we didn't have the ability to get fixed in time. We got it ready. It's right there. You're going to see the numbers on the helmets during gameplay. Roll Tide. So that wraps up the first list of features we'll be talking about this year.
A lot of exciting stuff, like I said, we've been talking about the whole time throughout each feature is, this is kind of the stuff that you guys asked for, So we're so excited. I mean, really excited to go on this year and kind of come out and say, this is what you wanted, hey, we're delivering it.
And so, yeah, that's going to be a reoccurring theme. You're going to see that every time you see us coming on, talking about this is what you've asked for, this is what you wanted. In addition to that, this is where we're innovating too. That's one of the key points of NCAA, and you'll see it again this year. So that wraps up for now. I'm Ben.
And I'm Russ.
And this here is Jim. I can't believe I said Roll Tide.